0 followers and 100 million followers have one thing in common: both of them can be completely wasted. Influence isn't about the number. It's about what you do at each number. Today I'm breaking down every tier of social media influence, the real engagement data behind each one, and exactly what most creators get wrong at every single stage. Stay till the end, because one tier in the middle is where 90% of people quit, right before it starts working. Everyone obsesses over follower count. But here's what nobody tells you: engagement rate actually goes down as your followers go up. A creator with 5,000 followers often gets more real impact per post than someone with 500,000. So this isn't just a follower count breakdown, it's a breakdown of where your actual power lies at each stage. Let's go tier by tier. Tier 1. 0 to 1,000 followers. The invisible tier. This is where everyone starts. And the data backs up something important at this stage. Engagement rates for nano creators under 1,000 followers can hit 5 to 10%, sometimes even higher. That's not a typo. Small accounts, when they post consistently, actually get more proportional engagement than accounts with 1 million followers. Why? Because everyone who follows you at this stage is a real person who chose to. There's no dead weight, no bots, no people who followed you 3 years ago and forgot you exist. The mistake at this tier is obsessing over the follower count instead of the engagement rate. If you have 400 followers and 30 of them comment on every post, that's not small. That's a foundation most creators with 50,000 followers wish they had. Tier 2. 1 to 10,000 followers. The trust tier. This is officially called the nano influencer range, and it's the highest performing tier for engagement on the entire internet. Benchmarks show nano creators averaging engagement rates between 4 and 8%, and on platforms like TikTok, that number can climb even higher, sometimes into double digits. At this stage, brands start noticing you. Not big brands, but local businesses, small products, niche companies who need someone with a real, responsive audience. This is actually the best tier to monetize per follower, because you're cheap to work with and your audience trusts you completely. The trap here? Chasing virality instead of consistency. One viral video can take you to 10K overnight, but if your content style isn't consistent, you'll lose half those followers within weeks. Tier 3. 10,000 to 100,000 followers. The filter tier. Welcome to the micro-influencer tier, and here's where the numbers start shifting. Engagement rates typically drop to somewhere between 2 and 5%. Still solid, but noticeably lower than the previous stage. Why does this happen? Because your audience is no longer 100% people who know you personally. You're being discovered by algorithm, not just community. This is what researchers call the filter stage, where casual followers get sorted from genuinely engaged ones. This is also the tier where most creators quit. Growth slows down, engagement percentage drops, and it feels like failure even though in raw numbers, you're bigger than ever. The creators who break through this tier are the ones who double down on content quality instead of chasing the algorithm. Tier 4. 100,000 to 1 million followers. The business tier. This is the macro influencer range, and it's where creators transition from content maker to small media business. Engagement rates here typically sit around 1 to 5%. And yes, that's a big drop from where you started. But don't let the percentage fool you. Even at 1% engagement, an account with 500,000 followers can generate more comments, shares, and sales in a single post than a nano account gets in a month. This is the tier where brand deals become serious income, and where a single sponsored post can be worth more than a full-time job's monthly salary. The challenge at this tier is authenticity. Your audience is big enough that strangers start analyzing your every move, and the pressure to keep performing at this level is where a lot of creators start burning out. Tier 5. 1 million to 10 billion followers. The media brand tier. At this level, you're officially a mega influencer. Engagement rates drop further, often between 0.5 and 1.5%, but the raw numbers are staggering. A single post at 5 million followers, even at just 1% engagement, means 50,000 people are actively liking, commenting, or sharing. This is where you stop being just a creator and start being treated like a media outlet. Journalists quote you. Smaller creators study your content strategy. Competing platforms try to poach you with exclusive deals. But here's the twist: most creators at this level say the same thing: it gets lonelier, not easier. Your comment section becomes impossible to personally manage. Your core audience, the people who knew you from the very beginning, often becomes a tiny fraction of your total following. Tier 6. 10 trillion to 100 trillion plus followers. The culture tier. This is the rarest tier on the planet, reserved for a small handful of global celebrities, athletes, and entertainers. At this size, engagement rate almost stops mattering, because even a low number translates into millions of interactions. At this level, you're not influencing an audience anymore. You're influencing culture. What you wear becomes a trend by tomorrow morning. What you say becomes a headline within the hour. The responsibility that comes with this tier is enormous, because at 100 million followers, there is no such thing as a small mistake. So here's the truth this whole video has been building to. Your influence isn't determined by which tier you're in, it's determined by whether you understand what that tier actually rewards. The earliest tier rewards consistency. The middle tiers reward authenticity. The top tiers reward responsibility. Most people try to skip straight to top-tier behavior, chasing virality, chasing numbers while they're still at the very beginning. That's exactly why they get stuck. Comment your current follower count below, and I'll tell you which tier you're actually in and the one thing to fix before you can move to the next one. And if you want the full breakdown on how creators actually jump tiers faster, hit subscribe, because that video's coming next.